Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chrissy. Today I'm working on a A4 canvas, which is roughly 11 by 8, and I'm putting some really cool colours on here. I enjoyed doing this one, by the way. I hope you enjoy it as well. I'm just putting some yellow, some oranges, and some Van Dyke brown. Now I'm blending all these together. I'm just doing a thin layer to start. Obviously you can still see the canvas underneath, but I will blend it all together and bring it up to colour. So I like working in thin layers and building my images up, even my backgrounds. So I've just used an orange, a yellow, any orange or any yellow you have, and I'm using Van Dyke brown. But if you haven't got that colour, you can use burnt umber. It's just a different colour to burnt umber. It's a bit more reddyish. Is Van Dyke brown. It's not as opaque as burnt umber. That's why I like it. So dried the first layer off. Now I'm coming in with the Van Dyke brown again. Obviously you can see it's going a bit darker because it's layering up a bit more. Giving a nice soft blend. Now I've dried all that off and I've got my little owl on. Sorry, today we are doing a little owl. Oh, you'll have seen through the thumbnail, so I don't need to tell you. So I'm just blocking in all the little dark values that I see. I'm using a little sword brush and I'm using some Van Dyke brown. Also, this is a part of a trilogy I'm doing, and I'll link the other two paintings that go with this owl in the description box, and maybe you'd like to watch them as well. So that's pretty cool. So there'll be 3 paintings all together. Now I've mixed a grey. I've just mixed a black and white and then tinted it with some of the Van Dyke brown. So you got like a browny grey colour. So this is going to act as my mid-tones for my highlights. And this was an image of my friend that I follow on Instagram called Rini Skirker. You might know her as. I'll also link her Instagram page in the description box below. She was very kind. She lets me use her reference photos as well. So the same principle here. I'm just using thin layers. You can see I'm not using very thick paint. I always work thin and build my images up into layers, especially in acrylics. Unless I'm doing something in pastel or, you know what I mean, something in oils that's a bit different. I'm using this nice bluey grey colour just to get the dark values covered for the branch. So obviously we don't want some that bright orange colour at the back. I think this really sets off these little images, and I thought it might be interesting for you guys if you struggle with backgrounds. These are the type of backgrounds you can really apply any image to. So that's why I've done a trilogy of these. Like I say, I'll link the other 2 paintings into the description box below, and you can bob along and go and have a look at those as well. They're all animal related as well. So I'm using that colour again for highlights. I actually used on the owl, that browny grey colour. I just swatched, that's not even a word. Well, it is a word. I've just swapped to my detail brush just to get his little eyes in. Any dark value you've got, I'm just using that really dark indigo blue colour that I really like. You'll have seen me use it before in my other paintings. It's a good paint to have in your stash. I mean, you don't have to always use black if you don't want to, but I've nothing against using black. You'll see me use black quite regularly in my artwork, but it's each artist has got their own preference, should I say, but there's nothing wrong in using it. So now I'm going in with really some darker tones of that brown, because the brown wasn't dark enough, so I'm going back in where I see the real dark values, which is another layer obviously. And the more layers you do, the more you'll see your artwork will improve, and you'll get used to layering. It's different for beginners. They're not really used to doing layers, but more seasoned you get, the more advanced you are in your artwork, the more you just automatically start doing layers. So I'm going to let that dry. I'm just getting all these little dark bits in. I'm going to let that dry. Just put his little beak in. Just use an orangey yellow colour. So I wanted that to stand out on his little cute face, which is too cute to look at. And I'm adding a tint of blue, as you can see on my brush there, just a tiny little bit of phthalo blue. And it's just like a little glaze over the eyes, so they're not like a really dark, horrible, you know, dim colour. Just adds a bit of niceness to the owl's eyes, that bit of blue. So I've gone back to my sword brush. So I'm doing the highlights now, but I'm not going in pure white. It is tinted down slightly, that white, as you can see. But I will add odd highlights. But you don't have to go really bright. You only need to do an odd highlight in your work. Because usually you get away with your mid-tones, which is perfectly normal. You don't have to go really bright, just in odd places. But I've let the underlayer dry. So as you can see, when I'm using my brush, I'm just twisting it left and right just to get some feather feel. So we don't want to paint every single feather in, but we're going to get feather texture. He's just quite happily sat on this branch. He's probably planning his next meal, or he's spotted something, but he looks cute. Same colour again, I'm just going in, doing a bit of detail. It's quite a bit of detail, you know, around his face and that. And I like these brushes for that, because you get a right nice chiselled edge, and I find them really comfortable to work with. Just slightly longer and slightly more chiselled at the tip, these brushes, than your regular angle brush. But this is totally doable with an angle brush. So I'm coming back in with a brighter colour, as you can see here. It's a brighter white. I've added less pigment and more titanium white to the mix. I'm just following where I went in before. Obviously reshaping anything I want to shape, like the bottom of his tail and that. Just giving it a bit more feather feel. Brighten his little eyes up. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the trilogy. Like I said, all the others will be linked in, depending which one goes out first. You know what I mean? You can flick through this, the next one, or there on in. You decide which one you like. Or you might like all three, I don't know, you might do. So I'm now going tinted with a little bit of blue, because I wanted a little bit of blue in the actual owl, because I thought it was nice and complementary to the actual orange on the background. It's just a cerulean blue with plenty of white I've used. Or you could use phthalo blue also. But phthalo blue, it is quite strong, pigmented, is phthalo blue. So cerulean blue's not as strong, should I say. That's why I went with cerulean. It's like a nice baby blue once you've added white to it. It's a really pretty colour. Nice for skies as well. So I'm just putting some little leaves there on the branches. It's like an autumn feel to it as well. So the leaves have just turned for the autumn colours. And if you'd like to join my Facebook group, I have a group as well over on Facebook where everybody shares their art. We do all sorts in there, and we're really nice bunch of people, really helpful and that. You can share your artwork. If you do any of my paintings, you can post them in there and I'll see them. You can tag me in them. Or you can tag me in on Instagram. And I also have Twitter as well. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. So don't forget, check out the trilogy and I'll see you soon. On screen now are 2 videos you may like to watch, and if you're not already subscribed, click on my face and be sure to click the icon bell to get a notification. As always, thanks for watching and create something wonderful. See you all soon on my next video.